How often are you told that you need to shallow the golf club to stop coming over the top? Do you have a sensation of being stuck in your downswing where you don't feel like you've got enough room, causing you to flip at it, causing you to just not accelerate through the shot? Well, I'm going to show you something that is a very significant feel that can change so much about your golf swing for the better. A really crappy feel when you're out playing golf is when you don't feel like you've got enough space, where you just feel a little bit stuck. And a lot of times this happens because we're trying to hit the ball too hard, or we're trying to hit at it rather than just sort of release and swing through. That's one element. But another element is there's a lot of information in your heads thinking that you have to try and get this lag to be able to get more power. And all that really does for a lot of golfers is end up just causing you to get stuck. The body stalls because you don't have the speed and rotation to be able to open up quick enough. So you end up just flipping. The other thing that can happen when we're trying to get shallow, right? Always trying to shallow the club and let this fall behind us because we're so worried about coming over the top because this right side gets a bit too dominant. We stop the body, the arms overrun, and then the hands take over. We're trying to get shallow, but again, what that can do is cause us to get very stuck, and the hands just cannot work fast enough to get around to square it up. There is an easier way. I'm going to give you two options, either of which can work exceptionally well, but you have to take a bit of onus to see which feel resonates best with you. When we get to the top of the swing, instead of trying to move everything down towards the ball, or instead of trying to pull the handle, which is a really detrimental move for a lot of people because we just don't quite do it right. We need a little more time. And I gave this tip to a student just the other day, and we hadn't even met in person. And I've only seen a couple of his swings, and it gave him that extra width that he was looking for. It gave him a bit more time. And it's a very subtle feel, but a very effective one. And I love this with a lot of students. But as we get to the top of the swing, doesn't necessarily have to be all the way at the top here, but whatever your top of the swing is, instead of pulling down, you're going to feel actually that you're pushing the butt of the club that way, just a couple of inches, okay? So you're sort of pulling it this way. And what that does, you think, well, that's going to cause casting. It doesn't if you do it correctly. Casting is when the wrists will sort of push out that way, okay, where we're uncocking the wrist. That's casting. That's when we get stuck back here. What we're looking at in this movement is to separate the hands and arms from our chest a little bit, to create a little bit more separation, to get a little bit more time. Because if we get to the top and everything sort of works down together, see how high up I am here? That's not good. And when we get this high, we have to work very hard to get the back to the ball. Like those wrists have to work exceptionally hard. So instead of being all the way up here, all right, where the shoulder dips down and all sorts of things, with this extra little bit of separation, it's going to feel like the arms are lowering just a little bit first, okay? Then we work our way back to the ball. Then we have a much more effective sequence. It's going to be much less reliant on timing. So in a way, a very simplistic way to think about it is we're sort of reversing your current pattern, which is body, or like everything working together, then hands. We actually want to almost feel like hands, then body, okay? It's a very weird movement, just to feel like from the top of here, that we're actually just pulling it almost along a clothesline to feel like the right arm is straightening a bit and the butt of the club is going there. Then we carry on as normal. I want you to try that one first, even in practice swing. Before we get into the second option, I want to show you a really neat drill. So I've got here a simple resistance band, all right? It's like a tube, it's a pretty good strength. This is a good warm-up little feel as well. But what we're trying to do is create a little bit more separation and timing, okay, to get that width, to stop getting jammed and to shallow. Here's what you do. Grab the band and put it around your back like so, okay? So I've got the full kind of tension going on here. I'm going to make my backswing, all right? And you've probably seen that, sort of doing these windmills. That's a really nice warm-up move, but also to make sure that you're doing the right pivot. What I want you to do is add on, okay? So you got the band here, you're going to add on, you make the backswing. We're actually going to, instead of everything trying to move down together, we're going to feel that this right arm is bringing it down first. See how my back is staying to the target just a little bit longer? And that sort of retraction, it feels very athletic because I'm bringing the palm in. But notice as I'm doing it, I'm not just staying passive with the body. I am moving with intention because I know I have to send something that way. So it's there. Start everything firing. And that feeling, after you've done it a few times, you try and repeat it with the swing, the same sensation, okay? Here, there. It keeps that width and it gets us into that delivery zone really well. It awakens the perfect feel that we're after for power, for separation, and for reliability. Give it a try. Use it every day at home or bring it out into your cart before you play. This feel might resonate even more after you've done that drill with the resistance band. But as we swing up, we're trying to feel, instead of everything being pulled down together or trying to shallow the club, because what happens when we shallow the club? As I said, we get stuck. We're trying to keep some width here. But by trying to keep width, what can happen is just by straightening this trail arm, okay? Just by straightening that out, you can see that my arc is going down that way a little bit more. It's here. And then you think, well, that's too far behind, potentially, yes, but I'm moving at the same time. You'll see Justin Rose do this sort of rehearsal where he's dropping it sort of down here, then sweeping through. It's a good feeling because it really helps his sequence for one thing. It shallows things plenty. He's not trying to shallow. He's not trying to loop his hands over this way to get super stuck. The main feeling he has is thus. I want you to feel like your back is to the target, like we were doing with that drill, and we're going to actually just focus on straightening the trail arm here. Unhinging this elbow. Be conscious of how hinged you are. We're trying to unhinge this elbow to push that club out there, then we turn through. So we do it very slowly at first, okay? We're just dropping it down there. And as we get to about thigh height, that's when we turn through to the ball. From the top of the swing, we are just thinking about straightening that arm. We don't want to just stall everything, remember? It's a nice fluid movement. So we straighten the arms, then get our bellies through to the target. We start very slow at first, okay? Very slow to accentuate the feeling, to swing through. But you'll start to realize that you get plenty shallow. You get the width and you deliver the power where it's meant to happen, which is here to here. We're not wasting it, throwing it down there and getting stuck and losing the power. We're getting reliable, consistent delivery using the body it's meant to, because we're improving our sequence, our width, and the sort of plane of the swing. So there you have it. Give those two feels a try. See which one resonates the most with you. And that drill is marvelous. Use it as much as you like until you start ingraining this into your swing. So when you're out on the golf course, you can just execute with the back to the target, dropping those arms out and down and through. It'll help your tempo, it'll help your scores, it'll help your game. Thanks for watching. If you want to add some distances effortlessly, this video is going to help you a ton. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll see you next time.